Are you or a loved one disabled? Do you feel alone, lost, and confused as to how to win your Social Security case? If you're watching this video, it's probably because you have so many questions and you're desperately looking for the answers. Hi, my name is Avi Libovic, and I'm the owner at Benefits for All and the lead attorney at Avi Libovic and Associates. Over the course of my 20-year career, I've overseen the processing and screening of over 500,000 disability cases, working with the largest hospitals, neighborhood clinics, primary care physicians, and even individuals who had no access to care at all. My strategies for how to win the case have made me one of the top experts in Social Security law in the entire nation. My life and my career were going great. And then one day it all came crashing down. It started first with some abdominal pains. And before I knew it, I'd been admitted to the hospital several times and I required multiple surgeries. I found myself unable to work and disabled and in desperate need of my own benefits. I understand exactly how you feel. I was in your shoes. And I'm going to take you through the process and help you and give you everything that I know so that you can win your case. I'm recovered and I'm back at work. And I have a newfound passion for helping disabled people because I myself have been there too. Call our office today for a free screening and to see how we can help you with your Social Security case. At the same time, enjoy these videos and webinars that we've prepared to help you understand how to win your Social Security case. Hi everyone, this is Avi Libovic and you're watching another amazing webinar brought to you by Benefits for All, where we teach you how to win your Social Security disability case without having to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. I'm standing in North Carolina. I have to tell you, it's Fletcher, North Carolina. I have to tell you, one of the things that I did before I went on this big road trip was I went on the internet and I did some research and I wanted to know what I should pack, which route I should take, what I need to be prepared for, what are the tips that people had. And one of the biggest tips that was given over and over and over again, I shouldn't say the biggest, but one of the most common tips that was given over and over again was the tip to not rush, was the tip to not just make it a quick drive from destination A to destination B, because then there's no adventure in it. There's no excitement in it. It's just, let's do this as quick as we can, let's do it as fast as we can, no passion, no heart, let's just do it. Versus taking your time, going around, making a road trip out of it, making an adventure out of it, making it an experience that you will remember as opposed to just all mechanical. And I have to tell you that to some extent, I think that that's what I've been doing. If I had gone quickly and driven across country in 5 days, I would never have had the time to do what I'm doing now, which is stop at different locations, see different parts of the see different parts of the United States. I've seen so many different landscapes, from desert in the New Mexico, Arizona area, to forests, I've driven through so many forests, I can't tell you how many times my data and my cell coverage has gotten wiped out, to off of the coast, by the ocean, by the waters, to, desert, forest, ocean, cities, right? Cities, urban, it's just to farmland, it's just unbelievable. And I've done my best to make it an adventure. I've done my best to make it a journey, a road trip, and I want to thank you. I'm having a terrific time. And in many ways, I think that when you're applying now for Social Security, you also a little bit have to, I understand that you're not feeling well. I understand that you want an expeditious, quick, determination, and just let's move on. Let's just get my benefits and move on. But at the same time, you should try to enjoy the process as much as you can. You should try to get to know the people at district offices, at the DDS, at the ODAR offices. They're very, very nice. At the hospitals, at the doctors, at the medical providers. They are there to help you if you're kind and courteous to them. And I think that hopefully you're going to have to do this one time in your life, and if you do it right, you do it correctly, you may come out of this with a very, very positive experience in terms of applying for your benefits and in dealing with Social Security Administration. So I hope that you take that advice. I hope that you do it. And In the meantime, let's just jump right into what we want to talk about today. Today's topic is going to be about income. Now, you'll remember that when we went ahead and we broke down the requirements for supplemental security income, SSI or Title 16, we said before that you need to meet specific criteria for residency. You need an attachment to the state. You need a specific requirement for citizenship, right, when you came into the United States. You need a specific requirements for resources. How much property or resources do you own? When I mean property, I don't mean just necessarily land. I mean different forms of property. And most importantly is income, determining your income. Because applying for disability benefits isn't just about being disabled and not feeling well, not being able to work. It's as much a part of also the conversation of, can you work? How much can you work? Are you able to earn above SGA, or must you earn below SGA because you're not feeling well? If you're earning above SGA in income, then you're not eligible. You have to be below SGA, right? But let's talk about income, and I'm going to reference some of my notes over here because there's 4 different types of incomes. Most people say, oh, income, money's money. No, not when dealing with Social Security. Money is not money. There's earned income. We're going to define them all. There's unearned income. There's in-kind income. And there's deemed income. So let's break it down. What's earned income? Well, earned income is exactly what you would imagine. Earned income is when you go to work. It doesn't have to be every day. You can have the type of job where it's a couple times a week or a couple times a month. Or maybe you sell a house at the real estate business and it's, once every couple months you make a sale. You're earning it. You're rolling up your sleeves, you're breaking a sweat, you're earning the income. Okay, that's easy. What's unearned income? Well, unearned income is money that you are receiving every month or every week or whatever it is, but you didn't roll up your sleeves to get it. You didn't have to go and clock in. You didn't have to submit a time card or you get a salary for it. It's money that is unearned but is still coming to you. Some examples. An example would be Social Security benefits. A Social Security benefit, did you go to work that month, that week? No, but yet you received your check for SSI. Another one might be a workers' compensation payout check, right? Or a settlement check from some other type of lawsuit. Did you go to work and actually roll up your sleeves and clock in? No, but yet you received unearned income. You received a workers' comp check or a check from some other lawsuit. Another type of unearned income would include unemployment benefits, right? You're desperately looking for a job, and in the meantime, you've applied for unemployment benefits, so that's another type of unearned income where you're receiving a check, but you didn't necessarily go to work. Unearned income can also include certain things like cash from friends or relatives, perhaps alimony payments, right? Child support payments. There's a lot of different types of income, and that's unearned income. So we've covered already earned income, we've covered unearned income. Let's talk about in-kind income. What does that mean, in-kind income? That means that someone is giving you something for free without anything in exchange back. You didn't work for it. You didn't roll up your sleeve or clock in. You didn't have it coming to you. But someone says like, I will let you sleep on my couch for the next month. That's unearned income. I will give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. That is unearned income. I will allow you to use my vehicle as much as you want, right? You don't have to pay me anything. You don't have to refill gas. That is unearned income. At different times, it may be objects. I'm letting you use, my clothing, my telephone. Unearned income is something that you're receiving that has a value, which is not earned, but is also not unearned. We're dealing with in-kind income. In-kind income. I think when you go ahead, for those of you who submit taxes every year, which is hopefully all of you, and you try to get a tax deduction for charity that you gave, right? So you have actually charity, which is money, that you'll give your accountant the list of organizations or charities that you've actually given money to. And then you also have an in-kind donation. An in-kind donation means you didn't give them money, but maybe you donated your washer and dryer, you donated some bicycles, you donated an old computer, you cleaned out your closet and you had old clothing. That's an in-kind donation. So in-kind income is the same thing as an in-kind donation, except instead of being the giver, you're the receiver. Someone let you use, their object. That's in-kind income. And then the last type of income we said is deeming income. D like David, E like Echo, M like Mary. Deem, or deeming, D-E-E-M-I-N-G, deeming income. That is other income that is coming in around you, but you are still benefiting from it. Meaning, you're disabled, but your husband or your wife or your live-in boyfriend or girlfriend is receiving income from their jobs. Now, when you apply for SSI, as we're going to discuss later, it isn't enough to just talk about what income you are making. You have to do an analysis as to deeming income, as to, okay, I'm living with my husband, I'm living with my wife, I'm living with my parents, I'm living with a sponsor, if it's if we're dealing with someone who's an alien who's working on their citizenship status, right? If they're earning a living, right, part of their income from their spouses is going to be deemed to you, right? And that also comes into play when what? It comes into play when there's children. There's deeming of income when there's children, and there is a grid that you have to be able to look at on that grid that we've included on the side of the webpage over there for you to review, to understand how it works if someone is married or unmarried, if someone is 2 kids, 3 kids, 5 kids, or 0 kids, and the amount of income that is coming in, okay? So there's earned income, there is unearned income, there is in-kind income, and there is deeming income. So you always thought that income is income, right? Cash is cash is cash is cash. Money is money. If it's green and it's cold, it's great. And you know what the truth is? That's not the case. Now you know there's earned, there's unearned, there's in-kind, and there is in-kind, and then there is deemed income. Let's talk about something else with income, because we said that when you apply for Social Security, you're going to have to go ahead and you're going to have to report your income, and Social Security is going to determine how much of that income to count against you. You have to remember, you can't be above a certain level. So when they go ahead and they count income, I'm going to read the list now, and you can follow along with me. SSA does not count the first $20 of income that you receive in a month. Why? Because that's what they've set aside. They said $20 we're not going to count. So you get a freebie of $20. The first $65 of earnings and 1/2 of earnings over 65 received in a month, they don't count. The first 65 in earnings and 1/2 of earnings over 65 received in a month. I'm going to explain that in a minute. The next one, the value of supplemental nutrition assistance program or food stamps received. In California and Los Angeles County, I think the food stamp program gives out $221. They don't count that $221, and they're not going to count any other food stamp program otherwise. What else don't they count? Income tax refunds. If you get an income tax refund, that's not going to count against you. Isn't that great? Okay. Home energy assistance. Home energy assistance. If your home is set up to receive some type of rebates or things like that based on the energy consumption, they're not going to count that against you, because it's a public policy consideration to go ahead and have the home using as much energy as they can. Assistance based on need, funded by a state or local government or an Indian tribe. So any assistance that's based on need, that's funded by a state or local government. So if there's another program that you've applied for, and there's many in every state where they're giving out based on needs, that money is also not counted against you. We're talking again primarily of earned income. Earned income. Other money that's not counted against you is grants, is scholarships, is fellowships, or gifts that are used for tuition or educational expenses. Okay? So you're disabled and you want to go to school and it costs a lot of money, but you were eligible for some special type of scholarship, either because you're gifted, you're bright, an academic scholarship, maybe perhaps they have some type of scholarship because you have a modified schedule based on your medical impairments or disability. Those are not going to count against you. Food or shelter based on need provided by nonprofit agencies. So it's one thing if you are living in a bedroom, a side room, a guest room of a friend of a cousin, of a brother of a sister, of whatever, that's one thing. Those are going to count as an in-kind. But if you're sleeping in a nonprofit shelter every night, right, and you're doing that 30 nights in a month, they're not going to look at that as you receiving an in-kind income. They're not going to count it because it's a nonprofit organization. Any loans to you that you have to repay is not income. That's a very important one, and we're going to do a separate webinar, I'm not sure if I did it already, I may have, on loans. Because if you borrow $500 from your buddy or your gal, right, your friend or a family member, and that gets received, well, depending on how you use it, that's either going to be an income or a resource if you put it in the bank, because you now have $500 that you didn't have before. However, if you have a note between you and the person who's giving you the loan, right? The lendor, you're the lendee and that's the lendor. If you have a note that says, I, Avi Leibovic, am borrowing $500 from my favorite buddy, right? Or my favorite gal, and I agree to pay you back, even with my SSI money, every month, $10 a month for the next whatever, or whatever amount you work on. Date it, sign it, you sign it, they sign it, they're not gonna count it against you, and you absolutely, positively must have that to give to the district office. I deal with those all the time, and there'll be a sample loan letter on the website. Other things, income set aside under a plan to achieve self-support. That's a PASS program. Plan to achieve self-support. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about that, you can log on to ssa.gov and hear a little bit more about that program. I've dealt with so many people, there are very few people who've come to me and told me they're part of PASS, so I'm gonna move beyond that. Other income that's not gonna be counted is earnings up to $1,780 per month to a maximum of $7,180 per year, right? So you can't take the $1,780 every month. 12 months, you're gonna be over the limit. Has to be only up to $7,180 for the year for a student under the age of 22. And this is falling under the student earned income exclusion. And again, we'll do a separate webinar on that. Other income that's not counted is the cost of impairment-related work expenses for items or services that our disabled person needs in order to work. So now you're working, but you had to go ahead and you had to purchase a special, my grandmother had it when she wasn't well. You know, it's like when something is out of reach, they give you like a little bit of it's like a handle and you squeeze it and it's an extension and it grabs maybe like a cup or a book or some other object. So you may have hurt your shoulder. Maybe you can't reach up over there and you had to spend, I'm picking a number, $25 on buying that little thing. Or you had to purchase, you know, your cane or a walker with a table on it so you can walk a little bit, but you know, the table allows you to put some stuff down while you're walking or rest. That would be a disability-related expense that they're not going to count against you. Of course, the cost of work expenses are not going to be counted if it's in regards to a blind person who utilizes that money to get to work. That's also not going to be counted. And you can see the special rule for blind people who deal with work. Any money that you receive from disaster assistance, right? You're on general relief. Somehow, some way you've been living in a home, owning a home, living in a trailer, a car, whatever it is. And then Hurricane Katrina hits, or an earthquake hits, or a hurricane comes, or a tornado, or something terrible comes and just wipes everything out. And the governor or the president or someone declares it an emergency, situation, emergency disaster relief program. And all of a sudden, good news, good times are here. You get a check for $10,000 or whatever it is. Are you going to get bumped off your SSI disability program because you got a check from a disaster relief program? According to the rules, no, and you can check all of these on www.ssa.gov. Let's continue. The first $2,000 of compensation that's received in a year for participating in a clinical trial. Again, you're sick, you're not well, a new medication came out, and they say, we will pay you to try the drug or whatever it is, and you say, sure, I'm in. They will not count that money against you when looking at income. Refundable federal or advanced tax credits received, right? After January 1, 2010. I don't know how many people this applies to, especially if you're in the SSI realm, but some people sometimes they get these tax credits. Your accountant would have told you if you received a tax credit. If you have any of those tax credits and sometimes they have a carryover where you can carry for a couple of years, they're not going to count that tax credit against you also. And then certain exclusions on Indian trusts, funds, payments that are made to American Indians who are members of a federally recognized tribe. Okay, so now we know again, review, recap. We always need to recap because I want it on your fingers. I want it down. I want you to know it down. You're applying for SSI. We know we got to take care of the citizenship. We know we got to take care of the residency. We know we got to take care of the resources, but we also got to keep our eye on the income. And what did we say? 4 types of incomes. There's earned income. There's unearned income. There's in-kind income, and there's deemed income. One more time, it's backwards. Deemed income, right? That's the money that everyone around you is making. Your husband, your wife, your spouse, they're not disabled, they're making the money, and it's deeming to you, right, or your children. That's deemed income. In-kind income, we said if someone lets you go ahead and they let you sleep in their house, and they let you go ahead and use their car, or they give you food or whatever it is for free, that's in-kind income. Unearned income, we said, is what? You remember? Pop quiz? Right, unearned income is a type of income where you're receiving checks, alimony or social security checks or workers' comp checks or state disability checks that you didn't roll up your sleeve in, you didn't clock in, you didn't have to do a salary, invoice or whatever it is. That's a unearned income. And then of course earned income, which is the hardest. You show up to work in the morning, on time, rolling up your sleeves, breaking a sweat, back breaking, working hard. That's earned income. You need to know when applying for yourself and trying to do your case on your own, you need to know how to do the calculations for the income to identify what is earned, what is unearned, what is in kind, and what is deemed. I'm breaking it down for you. There will be examples on the webpage for you to look for. If you have additional questions, at least you have a familiarity with what I'm talking about now. So either you can look on the bottom of the page and you can look at our www and Benefits for All, look at our telephone number and give us a call, and we might be able to answer you quickly over the phone. Or alternatively, since you have a familiarity with what you're talking about now and you know you need to be below a certain income level, when you submit everything to the district office, your local district office, be courageous, be confident. Go to them and say, I have a question about earned or unearned income, or I have a question about deemed income because my husband, my girlfriend, they're living in the house and this is what they're earning. How does it affect my SSI eligibility? Okay? I'll tell you a story, a caveat you should be aware of. I had a lady who was very sick, she had cancer, she needed to get the SSI because not only did she need the SSI money, she needed the Medicaid that goes with the SSI, right? She needed the access and the availability and the access to care. She had cancer, you can't mess around. She had a problem. She was married. She didn't have Title II credits. She couldn't apply for that. Her husband made too much money and he lived in the house. Too much money in the house. So now she was ineligible for what? She was ineligible for SSI. So she thought and she thought and she thought and she thought. You know what she said to me? She said, Mr. Leibovic, should I get divorced from my husband? We'll still, whatever, we'll still be in touch and maybe we'll still love each other and whatever it is. But I can't have his income if I'm living with him. I can't have his income, count on me. I have cancer. I need to go ahead, I need to get the benefits. What should I do? I said, look, who am I to stand in between true love? I'm not going to tell you to get divorced. If you and your husband sit down and that's a decision that you make, then that's a decision that you make. But I would not encourage you to get divorced or separated. By the way, if you are legally separated and the person is not living in the house, and that's always a good test, so to speak. Just imagine a house, imagine a teepee, a triangle, like an old Indian tent. Or imagine a house. Anyone who's in that house there, are they earning money? You need to have them in mind when you're doing your calculation for deeming income, okay? Let's keep going and see how all this works. And I think that maybe what we'll do is, we'll stop over here because I don't want to get into a whole calculation of income right now because that's going to require an extensive conversation. I want it to be tight and I wanted these webinars to be digestible. So I think that we just gave you over something that's very digestible. And again, to put things in a certain context, always remember, it's very easy. When you're dealing with SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, you're dealing with credits. You're calling up the district office. You're asking, how many credits do I have? What is my date last insured? When do those credits expire? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to watch the webinar. When does it expire, my date last insured? You need to look at your onset date and see how everything matches up and if you're going to be eligible for SSDI. SSDI is not dealing with income. It's not dealing as much with resources. It's not dealing as much with citizenship or with residency. Those are aspects of it, but it's not dealing as much with it. SSI, on the other hand, supplemental security income, is all about the income part. It's the residency, it's the citizenship, it's the resources, and it's the income. Is it earned? Is it unearned? Is it in kind or is it deemed? These are all things that you need to look into. Google is available, SSA.gov is available. Just write in the words SSA and income and Google, and deeming, and boom, it will come up. Put in SSI and income and put in earned. Boom, you'll get all the rules. Okay, you can do this, it's gonna be great. Okay, we're here in North Carolina, we're having a terrific time. I encourage all of you to come down here, come check it out. My name is Avi Libovic. You got the income stuff down, check it out, count up your earned income, count up your unearned income, look at your in-kind income as well as your deemed income, use the grids that are there, take off the exclusions, come to the calculations, and everything is gonna be fine, okay? www and Benefits for All, my name is Avi Libovic. I wish you the best of luck, and I know that working together, we will be able to win your Social Security disability benefits, and you will not have to pay the cost of an expensive attorney. Thank you very much.